Hi, welcome back channel, TrainStation2. Alright, the start of first competition for this automobile event. Before that, let's watch the video. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed that video for this event. Alright, this is the start of it. Started late as usual. I'm going to select my team, of course, later on. We'll share here. First up, take a look at the interesting rewards. If you take a look at that, you already have seen some very beautiful trains. I'm going to collect both legendary if possible. Now we're going to select a samurai because that's what I prefer. And also based on the fact that I receive some of the YouTube friends here say they are joining samurai, likewise from the union friends as well. So here we go. This is the start of the event map, the car plant. Welcome, and of course with that lots of things to be produced in the car plant itself. But first up, very interesting things that they're asking for. Non-event items at the start, of course. 20 or even 30 kind of ceiling that we're looking at. In the past, I would definitely predict this as events whereby you can do 99% strategy because it's a very long runway in a way, because you got to do 30 jobs in order to complete it and before you embark to the next one. Whereas those events that you should quickly complete 100% will be those that have very short ceiling or low ceiling, you call it 5 or 10. But that all has changed as Pixel has basically tried their best to stop all such predictions in order to have those that pay to win competitions. That's quite unfortunate, don't you think so? That's a very long train, don't you think so, in the platform depot itself? But nonetheless, very importantly, this is something you got to really know. Starting late is a must because then you'll not be facing very competitive players who is really aggressive in spending real money to get gems. Player like us, if you are with me, who is not paying or have not actually paid a single cent in the game, then starting late is a priority. Very unfortunate here. Samurai has started out really slow. Unfortunate, but that depends on luck. Hopefully, this is just a start and we get better out of it. Hopefully, we can get at least a second, so we get a slightly more of those keys. Talking about back to this competition itself, besides starting late, you need to basically have lots of things in your factory. If you could do an upgrade, I'm going to do 2 upgrades for sure. That's cost me about 110 gems. With that, I will have 4 slots, and with that 4 slots, then basically we can start producing at a relatively better speed, I would call, because if you have just 2 slots, you may have a struggle. Do remember in this whole event, the items I've shared earlier in my previous video, steel, wood, this steel you can grab from the factory if you already have the steel factory and the wood factory. What really you need to produce lots of it would be basically the copper. It takes half an hour for a batch of 80, so make sure you have tons of those. Alright, so besides preparing the items, definitely you got to grab a lot of the event raw materials in order to keep on producing. I think I couldn't afford that, the fact that I'm really having all those items to the brim in terms of the warehouse as well as the factory. The winter season did not end well. We have entered, I think, the silver 2 league, so it would be tougher. Probably will drop back to silver 1, but nonetheless, I think everybody is really busy at the start of this event. I really don't know how other league members actually or the union members actually compete in the competition and yet focus a lot in terms of the union winter season. The only thing I can think of is really big time gem spenders that really invested heavily into the game and they keep on going. That union kind of winter season seems to be catering more towards that niche market of I'll call them big spender. End of the day, I think important for people who are not spending, besides starting late, preparing raw materials. There's one more thing you should do after this competition is to have EP head start. Having EP head start is only happens on the second competition. Generally, after the competitions, you complete that 3 jobs, and then you have it held back and not collected until the start of the competition, the second one. What I did just was do a comparison between this legendary train, which I thought I have one, but in fact I do not own any. The one that I had in Region 7 Netherlands is a different one, although it could have one from the same automobile global event. Nonetheless, they are different. This is a BR Class 88, very different from the current ones that you can get from the reward path. So I'm going to definitely get that. In that case, I have 2 very unique trains that actually looks exactly the same function but different design. Beautiful. Alright, so that is something I'm looking forward to collect as one of my 2 legendaries of every single event. The other one, definitely going to collect it using 4,000 keys. Mind you, do remember this, you shouldn't be spending any single key until you have collected 4,000 sufficient for you to exchange for the legendary. Please do not go and collect the common train at this juncture, whereby you are most needed to save up, because otherwise you run the risk of not being able to collect that legendary at the end of the event. So target to get that legendary of 4,000 keys by probably the end of the 4th competition. As for the 1,000 event coins, try to get it by the 5th competition if possible. Subsequent competitions will be tough because by then you would have already hit 100% of the event match. And once you hit 100%, I think all hell breaks loose. Generally, your quantities double, triple. Competitors may have not completed 100%, are running in the top of the ranking chart, and you are the wrong bottom. That is only unfortunate, but that's a reality that's going to happen. Hopefully, if you are batched together in the same competition with a group that have completed 100%, then that you have so-called a fair fighting chance, I call it. Alright, do remember to exchange for union stuff as and when. I think a couple of hours, I think, can't recall, is it 4 or 6? They change every 4 or 6 hours or so. Then we have that collected in order to contribute towards your union. But again, there may be a dilemma of should you be keeping the stuff for delivery in the event, or should you be exchanging for the union winter season? That's all up to you. For me, it's because I'm packed to the brim. I have no choice. It's either I dump them to the bin, or I exchange it for union winter season items. That's why I chose to exchange. Alright, so of course, if you do not have sufficient and you want to focus on the event, by all means exclude winter season from your stress. It is really stressful if you got to compete as well at the same time cater for the union winter season. I'll urge you to focus on the events because events is only at this period, you're going to fight and get the rewards, whereas for the union winter season is always there. Of course, that being said, this is the last of the winter season. Next, I think we're going into next season, so there'll be 4 seasons, as you know by now. Generally that's how it works, but it doesn't really matter to me, is that winter season or not, is a union, is a continuation. Whereas for events, if you don't get that 2 legendary, there'll be a regret. Of course, you got to judge, besides getting that 2 legendary, what other trains do you require. Should you be collecting the 2 legendary in your current region, or if you're like me, I'm currently at 693, probably may most likely go into next region at the tail end of this event. Hopefully, then I may be saving up that 2 legendaries only in the new region. That's it. Unfortunate if I cross to the new region using crossing 700 levels and I go to Japan before I could. then I may be in deep trouble, because competitions in a new region is a total different ballgame. Alright, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and we wish you good luck. Press. Goodbye.